Of Yisrael, I'm General Sar Shemuel Binyamin, under Nasi Yashuvel, Shomrei HaTorah, and Shema Yisrael, and Chief Prince Sapor, and Prince Nathaniel. I bid you shalom once again. You got to forgive me, I'm a little sweaty because we've been training this morning and, working on some kickboxing, sparring, and so on and so forth, and I'm putting together some awesome lessons for the seminars coming up. And really going over trying to prepare our people for war and combat so that we can defend ourselves and defend our homes and our families. But one of the things that came up last night when I was on the phone with my great brother and leader, Nasi Yashuvel, we were talking about loyalty. And the aspect of loyalty has been lost amongst the nation. And I think a lot of times we have this misconstrued what loyalty really means. And I think we often claim to be loyal and claim to be in order, but we truly don't know what it means because we think that order only begins and ends with the Most High. Even in our households today, we look at women, our wives, and women oftentimes say that they're loyal to the Most High, but they're disobedient to their husband. That's not true loyalty. That's not order. You can't claim to love the Creator and be out of order in your home. You can't claim to love the Creator and be out of order and be out of loyalty or be disloyal within military service. So these are things that we have to focus on. It takes us to the thoughts and the writings of 1 Samuel, chapter 24, when we're going into Saul seeking to kill David. And the very importance of that story is that Saul had it out for killing David, and he was in search of David. And David and his men were hiding in the cave, and Saul went in the cave to, basically relax and cover his feet. And as Saul goes into the cave, David's men, who were undyingly loyal to David, presented the suggestion and idea that, David, here's your opportunity to get back at the man who was seeking death upon you, your enemy. And David thought about it because obviously this time you have a man approaching you that's seeking to kill you, and you have the perfect opportunity to kill this man. But David understood more so his desire. He understood something greater than his personal emotion. He understood loyalty and what true service and obedience really meant, and what it truly meant to be in order with the Creator. And that order just didn't stop with the Creator, but it went to his anointed. And when you're under the Most High's anointed, when you're under the service of those who are leaders of Yisrael and righteousness, you have to follow order. David merely cut the cloak of King Saul, which insinuated that, I can get you right now. But it wasn't David's decision to make to kill Saul. It wasn't David's decision to make to remove the anointed from the throne. That is the Most High's decision. And David allowed his men to speak, but then once he made his move, he told his men to stand down. Told them to fall back. David came from out of the cave to present himself to Saul, and he presented himself in a humble manner. Now, this is a man who was trying to kill you, but you still remain humble to him. You still do him no harm. That's a powerful thing to do. And then to actually present yourself in front of this man and then show him mercy and let him see the grace of your mercy, and that you serve a power greater than him, which allowed you to remain in order. That helped this man see the errors of his ways. See, we're building military and we're claiming that we want to be warriors for the Most High, but yet we want to challenge our leaders. We want to go against those who are setting orders, setting rules. We don't want to follow those. But yet we want to cling to the Creator and not follow those who've been placed here to be teachers, leaders. Even in death, David was able to uphold his vow to Saul. Even in death. Saul was on the battlefield and he fell on the sword, or fell on the spear. And for one to be not only find Saul, but to take it upon himself, even when asked by Saul to take his life, so it wouldn't be that he's sitting there waiting to die from a gravely or mortal injury. This man approached David after killing Saul with the idea that he was going to be met with good grace and received with love. But David didn't receive him with love. Because even in death, this man took one of the anointed. He raised his hand to strike down the anointed king of the Most High's kingdom. And even though Saul's time had ran its course, it wasn't upon you to lay your hands on one of the Most High's children. David took it upon himself to have his men kill this man, because he was able to uphold his loyalty to the crown and to the Creator. How many of us are really willing to step up, claim loyalty to our leaders and our Creator, and follow? See, we're not scared to talk about building a military. We're not afraid to talk about training our warriors, our men and our women, our children. But the time for disloyalty is over. The time for us to approach things with kid gloves is over. The time that we shuck and jive and we throw stones and hide our hands is over. If you're claiming to serve in these militaries and you're claiming to serve with these warriors, you will be in order. We cannot continue to claim love for the Most High Yah, and we operate in a manner that leads us astray or leads us from out of the midst of the righteous and leads us down our own path of emotion and our own personal desires. I ask that everybody who is walking in this walk and moving forward in this nation and moving forward in the service of Yah, that you take a hard look at yourself and understand what you're really getting into and what it really means to be a servant and a warrior of the Creator. Are you really, truly humbled, willing to be obedient, to be a righteous servant to the Creator and the order that's being set? Nobody's telling you have to like every decision. Nobody's telling you that you have to like every person that you serve with. It's not about building friendships. It's about completing the mission. And the mission is liberation. The mission is freedom. The mission is restoring the Most High's kingdom. We're not waiting for skies to open up. We're not waiting for mythical men to jump out of the clouds. We're not waiting for UFOs to drop people off. It is up to us. It is up to the men and the women here today to make these changes. We've been lost for far too long, ladies and gentlemen. We've cried out for far too long. We have to be the workers. We have to be the doers, so that our children and our children's children can reap the benefits of our hard work and our loyalty. Why do you think it took 40 years in the wilderness? You had to get rid of these older generations, these generations that still wanted to stay in bondage. We got to weed these people out. We may not ever get to see the promised land. And honestly, I would love to get there, but if I never make it, it's okay. Because my work has to be done and put in for the Creator, so that my legacy and that my children and that my children's children and that your children and that all of our children can experience the glory of the promised land and full liberation under the Most High Yah and His righteous kingdom. This is a spiritual development channel. One love. If you guys are looking for me, I am Sar Shemuel Binyamin on Facebook. I do run the bus system on Instagram, the Bancroft Urban Survival System. We are offering martial arts and self-defense training, combatives training for women and children. It's time for us to build a nation. It's time for us to get right. One love to all. Hallelujah.